Welcome back to the channel and a new project. We are working on my personal car. It's a Audi S3. We're going to be changing the disc brakes and the pads. Just put some better ones on, and we're going to be changing the spark plugs, and we're going to install some intake pipe, turbo elbow, and we'll see if it actually boosts the power without having to spend tons of money. It's already got good power. They come 300 brake standard from factory. I believe it's stock at the minute. I haven't done any tuning on anything, so I'm not sure if the previous owner has. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get these bits installed. So this is our sound test before any pipes have been installed, and then we'll do one after to see what the difference actually is. And that's a stock exhaust, and it sounds nice already. I'm just excited. I think it's gonna sound a lot nicer. So yeah, we took the ignition coils out. Actually come out in one piece, and they all come out in one piece. So really happy about that. Save some money on buying new ones. So it's all opened up. We're just gonna go change the 4 spark plugs. Once we've changed the spark plugs, we'll go ahead, remove the air filter box and the pipes and get those bits installed. So here we just start off by loosening all the existing spark plugs. We're going with the NGK spark plugs. Once they've all been loosened, we just go over it with the spark plug socket, take them out, and we can put the new ones in. So to do that, we just drop them in, just hand tighten them so they're in place. Once they have been hand tightened, then they're all sitting in the correct place. We go ahead and tighten them to the correct spec. Once we have all the spark plugs in place and tightened down, we go ahead and put the ignition coils back in. So spark plugs in, just go tighten them down and then put the coils back on, and that's one job done. Here I just go over and just tighten all the spark plugs, and I get my cousin just to double check it all. With the spark plugs done, we go ahead and put the ignition coils on and tighten them down. So we're going to remove this, then we'll get the filter box off, and then we can go ahead and remove the hoses and get our new ones on. So these are new pieces going on. It's the intake hose, the turbo elbow. It's meant to have a better design here to allow the air to flow through much better than the factory one. When we take them off, we'll do a side-by-side comparison anyway and see the difference. And this is the turbo muffler delete. So we should hopefully hear a bit more of that turbo noise. We start off by removing the intake part that leads into the air filter. Once we have all that out the way, then we can just go ahead, as I'm doing here, is just pulling it up, and the only thing holding this down is 2 rubber grommets. With the air filter box out the way, we remove the hose that connects onto the turbo elbow. So with the hose removed out the way, there's one screw holding on the elbow, which we take off, and then we can twist and remove the elbow. This is the stock. You can see the body's really reduced here. I'll show you the replacement. You can see the difference. So we're going to get a lot more airflow through this bit straight into the turbo, which in return should give us more power, hopefully. So the intake pipe, and this is our new one. So there's not a big difference between them, apart from this one is silicone and it's more smooth all the way, so that should help as well. The turbo muffler delete that we're going to replace is there. So it goes into there, into the turbo. So to remove that, it's 3 screws, and then it should just pull out, I believe. I'll be honest, I have watched a few YouTube videos on how to do it myself, so I'm not one to talk, but my cousin here, obviously, he's a mechanic, so he knows a bit more, so I'll just give him the lead for a little bit. Yeah. So this is the muffler delete. So this is the factory one, which is a bit weird because there's like these air pockets that's been cut out here, like for the air to escape for some reason. Whereas a new one hasn't got that. So I think that might be the big difference here in them. But yeah, they're pretty much identical. Inside the diameter looks the same. So yeah, I think the only difference is this cutouts where I don't know why they'll do that. So yeah, we're gonna go start getting this installed, and then we can work our way back up. So we're getting that installed now, which is gonna go and slot in down there. I'll try and get that angle if I can. So yeah, that's the turbo muffler. We'll go ahead, get the hoses all back on onto that, and get the wires clipped back in that we had to unclip, and then we can proceed with the turbo elbow and the silicone hose. So I'm getting this on now. I'm gonna try record it and do it with one hand. So this should just go in somehow like this, and then twist up. That was it. So then we'll go ahead and get that screw in. So the same way we took the old one off, we're going to put the new one on. So you just slide over like that. It's quite a nice fit. Before I tighten this up, I'm going to get the air box back in here, get that on, and then we can just see how it sits, and then we'll tighten up everything. So to connect the air filter box back in is the same way that we took it off. Just line it up onto the grommets and push it down into place. Obviously on ours we have the hose that runs in front, which we have to be careful of. The silicone hose that I've installed is a little bit big for the original air filter box that we have. I have ordered a new intake, which I'm waiting on delivery and still hasn't arrived. So that's in. I have ordered a induction kit for this, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I was just excited to get these on. So we'll do these at a later date anyway. Almost there. Just clip them back in. So now we can tighten this one up properly. So that's in. That's in, tighten. We put the turbo elbow in. We got the muffler delete. We'll go get this trim back on here, the air intake bit, and we'll give it a test to see how it does sound. The reason I went for the grey hose as well is because it matches the grey on the engine cover. I don't want to go for your typical red or blue. I think this ties in a lot nicer with the car. So yeah, we'll get this installed and then we'll test it. Once we've got everything installed there, we can just go ahead and put back all the trims that we took off from the front of the car. So with the engine mods complete, we're going to go ahead, put the cover back on, clean the silicone hose, and then we can lift the car and get on changing the brakes. So now with the engine bay cleaned up, how nice does that actually look now? So these are the pads I've gone for. They're the EBC yellow stuff, these ones, I believe they're called. And then I'll unbox this and show you the new disc. So I've gone for the DBA disc. I'll unpackage that later. But yeah, they're a lot better than the standard ones. So hopefully they do a much better job. So I've just gone over with a breaker bar, loosened up all the nuts. So just go ahead, take them all off. So we're going to go ahead, remove that screw, take the caliper off, and then we'll change the pads and the disc. These ones ain't too bad, but yeah, we do need better brakes on this. There's 2 screws to remove to take the caliper off. And there's another 2 screws to take the caliper holder off. Once we take the screws off to remove the caliper holder, we can then take the disc brake off. With the old disc brake out the way, we go ahead and clean up the hub and get it prepared for the new disc. So this is the existing disc, well the old one that was on there. Still got a bit of meat on this, not actually bad, is it?
They're quite good actually.
But now we're putting on our new one.
The big boys.
The big boys. They actually look quite nice.
They do.
This got any weight? Or?
No, just the way you're holding it, chuck it in there.
And to install the new disc brakes, it is just the same process we did to take them off, but in reverse. So we start by fitting on the disc brake with the one screw there, and then screwing back on the caliper. So these are our new brake pads that we're putting in, the EBC yellow stuff. So that should give us better stopping power. That's actually quite nice. So that's one down, 3 more to go. I'm not going to show you, I probably won't show you all of them because that'd be just a boring video. But we're going to go ahead, repeat the same process on the other ones, and then we'll get the wheels back on. So the condition of the front ones is actually pretty good. So I'm assuming they've been changed recently. However, if you see the pads and the disc on the back, look at the state of those. There's hardly any meat left on the pad. The disc, absolutely, it's ruined. It's lip there, lip there. Both the rears, they're both the same. So this is the other one. Okay. Hardly anything left on that. Good job, we're changing it now. So we managed to do all the discs and pads. I think this was the first one that we've done. So they're all done. Next thing is get the wheels back on. We've done everything we had to do, so here's a cold start. So, time to get on with the changing the disc pads.
Small.
That's embarrassing. That's on video. You're meant to be the professional out of the both of us.
It happens now and then.
They're tight, innit?